Hasbro Star Wars Black Series C-3PO from The Force Awakens. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series C-3PO from The Force Awakens. Now this is the C-3PO with the red arm. I don't much care for this version. It's just that in The Force Awakens it was so blatantly just, look at me, I've got a red arm, I'm different. I don't know, that just sticks out in my head as annoying as hell. And this is coming in a little bit late because I wanted to find the Walgreens exclusive C-3PO with the silver leg, gold arm, but I haven't been able to find it. On top of all that, I'm a little bit sick, so here I am sitting in my pajamas reviewing an action figure. The packaging, like we always talk about with the new Star Wars Black Series figures, it's a holdover from last year's The Force Awakens packaging change. I like the red, I like the black, it's a nice contrast, it makes the figures stick out. C-3PO's number 29 on the back, it has the bio and then the nice little picture. But I'm going to get this open and compare it to the C-3POs we already have. And there we go, all out of the package. And truthfully, this is better than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be kind of hindered all around, which that's partially true. We'll get to that. I'm talking about the sculpt real quick. The sculpt is really nice. I mean, it's kind of soft. It's not as detailed as, say, the model kit. Paint, it's a little bit dull. It could be just a little bit more shiny, but it's there. Looking at comparison pictures to the movie, he did have that kind of dull look to it, especially the red arm. It was almost flat. But the sheen of metal is kind of hard to capture in a mass market retail figure. I don't think it should have been vac metalled or, you know, shiny gold. This is actually closer to movie accurate than that would have been. So yeah, not bad. Now the biggest difference between this and the Walgreens exclusive is of course the red arm. That's the most noticeable. What I never noticed before is the torso section is actually different too. The wires up under on his abdomen. In the original trilogy, C-3PO's wiring there was pretty much straight up and down. There was some curve to it, but it was mostly vertical. Jump to The Force Awakens and there's actually horizontal wiring there. The difference is really noticeable once you pick up on it. And Hasbro went out of their way to make different abdomen pieces for the two C-3PO figures, which is above and beyond, I think, because it's something that not a lot of us would have caught, but they did change it, and that's awesome, Hasbro. Another thing I like about this is how they kind of did the eyes. My biggest problem with the import C-3POs or other C-3POs we've gotten in the past is the dead-eye look. Hasbro got around this kind of by putting 3 white dots around the black center. And really, I think that gives it a little bit more life. It kind of simulates that lighted look without actually putting lights back there. Now I'm going to get into the articulation before getting to the comparisons, but the big thing to remember here is that just the nature of the C-3PO suit hinders articulation quite a bit. But there are some points that could have been done a little bit better. The neck is a hinge with a ball on top. You get very slight side to side. Not a lot of forward. Back pretty good. He can actually look up a little bit. And then of course some swivel. The shoulders is a hinge and swivel. And then the shoulder cap, it turns too. So you can get up and you can get out and in. And then you get some rotation there. I'm just going to jump to it. The lack of a bicep swivel here, it really keeps you from getting into some natural positions. When you're posing him, you want to turn the arm out this way, like this, but it doesn't turn that way. It's awkward posing the arm at the shoulder. We get down to the elbow and there's nothing there. I guess that's to preserve the look of the pistons here without actually putting some movement there. I'm kind of okay with that because you don't see C-3PO move his elbow a lot in the movie. Even with the model kit, I use the arms that don't bend at the elbow. So I'm okay with that, but it would have been nice to see a little bit of hinge there. The hands are hinge and swivel, hinges back, and then it swivels. Good amount of torso articulation. For C-3PO anyway, yeah, it gets up and around. The hips are hinge and swivel. On mine, they seem a little bit loose, but not enough for the figure to fall over. You get out to there, you get forward, you get back. There is a swivel at the thigh, hidden by the armor. Hinge at the knee gets back only that far. Hinge at the ankle gets back really well. Gets forward a little bit, and then forward facing pin for rocker. For comparison, here he is with the MAFEX C-3PO, which kind of chaps my hide because it wants to fall apart every time I pick it up. I do use the MAFEX in the back of my display, only because of the sheen and how it actually looks. The Hasbro one is definitely smaller. And here he is with the Bandai model kit. Always consider the Bandai kit to be a little bit small compared to the SH Figure Arts and especially the Black Series. The Hasbro one is even smaller than that. Just slightly, just barely. But the biggest difference here, of course, is the sheen. And of course, the details on the model kit are a lot sharper. Then I'm throwing this comparison, the SH Figure Arts Luke Skywalker, who is pretty much exactly the same size as the Hasbro Black Series Farm Boy Luke. C-3PO here seems a little bit small. I feel like this is okay in the display. C-3PO, in my head anyway, always seems like a little bit smaller. He's just a protocol droid. And I say that after saying that I use the MAFEX on the shelf. I'm such an asshole. Here he is with the Black Series R2-D2. Everyone knows I don't like the Black Series R2-D2. It's just small. The detail isn't that great. But if you wanted to use these together, I think they work well. That may have been why they scaled the C-3PO a little bit smaller, is to go with this R2-D2. But my favorite is the Bandai model kit, of course. It's a good size, it has good detail, the colors are nice, it's nice and clean. So, short and sweet, at the end of the day, not the most dynamic figure, but it's a good C-3PO, especially if you don't want to pay import prices. Model kit can get a little bit expensive because of the finish, and then of course the MAFEX is MAFEX prices, and you may not want to deal with it pissing you off by falling apart all the time. Yes, the shoulders are a little bit disappointing. You can't get all the poses that you want, which is really weird because they really went all out on the torso and the legs. For C-3PO, there's a lot of articulation there. And the sheen could be a little bit shinier, but overall, if you were waiting for the Hasbro C-3PO, not bad at all. If you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.